I believe that in order to create peace in your life, there are four things that you need to focus on every single day to ensure that you have a peaceful life. And these four things for me are daily rituals. Like I don't sleep on them and I don't take them for granted. Like I feel that since I have started doing these things that my life has began to just be more easy. And I know that there's a thing about that we are supposed to struggle and that we are supposed to like have good times and bad times, which is true. I do think that there's an ebb and flow in life, right? But I also believe that we don't have to struggle. I do believe that things in life overall can be easy if we allow it to be. And these four things that I have decided to implement every day in my life has allowed me to be less stressed just about daily life, right? Like I'm unbothered by the things. I'm unbothered by the ebbs, right? I'm unbothered by the resistance. Typically, when I hit some resistance in the road, then I'm just rolling with it. But, I wanted to talk about this because I talked to my homegirl yesterday, and she and I were talking about the retreat that we both attended last year. And I told her that I felt uncomfortable during the retreat. And the reason why I felt uncomfortable is because I felt guilty for the peace that I have created in my life. And I felt guilty because these women were coming to retreat. They were coming to escape from their everyday lives. And for me, I have created so much peace in my life that I came for community. I came for friends. I came for connections. And while I understand the things that a woman, especially a Black woman, has to endure and go through on a day to day basis, I also want to say that, sister, listen, sis, it can be a whole lot easier. First and foremost, First and foremost, you have to put yourself at the top. We allow ourselves to be used and abused, and we place so much value in what we do for other people that we don't know how to take care of ourselves. We don't know how to cultivate peace in our lives because we have decided, somewhere deep within us, deep within our subconscious mind, that our value is in what we do for others. And I want to tell you that, sister, sis, you are valuable no matter if you're helping the next person or not. You are valuable whether you are super mom, you are valued whether you are the best wife. It doesn't matter what your role is. You are valuable just because you are, just because you exist. And I want more women to understand that they can have a peaceful life, that things don't always have to be stressful. I'm truly passionate about this because after I had my daughter, I really thought, like, I had my daughter, and it was a very unconscious feeling that I was going to be struggling as a single mother. But that wasn't what my external reality was telling me, right? And it wasn't until I really had to depend on my village where I was like, oh, I don't have to struggle as a single mother. And I've grown up, of course, seeing all single mothers. Nobody in my family is married. Well, I do have a cousin, she's married. But like, I'm not witnessing women in my family be married. Like, I'm witnessing a lot of them struggle as single moms, generation, like down to the generations, like all the way down. And I was thinking to myself is that I'm just repeating the cycle. But it was like during the time, after me and my daughter's father separated, he was still around. I was living with his mom. Like, so if I took a step back and I had to, see, I took a step back and I had to see that I had the support systems, you know. Um, but because I hadn't known or I hadn't seen it or witnessed it, then I thought that I was going to be struggling. And you can even look back at some of my old content, like a lot of it is geared towards single moms, because I felt that that was the trajectory that I was on. And I remember having a conversation with my daughter's grandmother, um, because I was living with them for a period of time. I had a conversation with her, and she told me that their story is not your story. And I didn't understand what she meant at that time. I'm talking about this woman is wise. I love her so much. She has so much wisdom. But she is like, their story is not your story. You get to create your story. Like, this doesn't have to be a cycle that you are continuing. And I was like, okay. I didn't understand that then. It wasn't until I went to Thailand with my daughter and had no support system whatsoever, where I was like, oh, I had a support system. So what I did, I took my daughter back to her dad, and I went to Colombia after that, and I went and traveled for a bit. And that helped me realize, oh, she's safe. She has two parents. She has two active parents. She has two sides to a family that she can depend on. And that helped me lower my anxiety, lower my resistance, and help me realize that my value is not in being a mother. And so I'm going to tell you, the four things that I do. I do have notes right here, so I'm just going to check them out as I go. First of all, every single day, I start my day with affirmations, prayers, and meditation. Don't matter what day, don't matter what's going on, at the start of my day, before I even go brush my teeth. Okay? I'm sitting up in bed, I'm saying my prayers, I'm speaking my affirmations. Sometimes I'll speak my affirmations out loud, sometimes I will close my eyes and guide myself into meditation while speaking my affirmations. But I'm meditating every day. And that is how I feed my spiritual self. That is how I keep up with my spiritual hygiene. That is how I feed spirit. It's by connecting and taking a moment to just be before anybody needs me, before anybody comes and say, hey, can you come make me some French toast? Before anybody like calls me, I'm taking that time for myself. And it's come so much to the point of where it's routine that my daughter, she just knows it already and she respects it. She does pop in every now and then and be like, hey, can I get some French toast? Or, whatever she wants to eat for breakfast. But if I had not meditated at that point, then I would tell her, hey, I haven't meditated. Just give me a moment. And she will give me a moment because she knows that this is something that I have to do every single morning for myself. And so it's important. That's my first point. It's like these four pillars. When I was going through a rough time, quote unquote, when I was quote unquote struggling before I knew that I didn't have to struggle, I was like, my foundation, my foundation, my foundation. What is my foundation? And then when I would go into meditation, oh, I was having some deep meditations at that time. I was meditating for like an hour to 2 hours on hand, like every single day. It was intense period. It was a very intense period in my life. However, I started saying like, what are these four pillars that I need in my life to help me with my foundation? Because I felt like I was starting completely over. And the four pillars were spiritual, emotional, physical, and mental. I have to feed those four pillars every single day. And so that's the first way that I feed my spiritual pillar is by meditating, affirmations, and prayers before anything. Um, Second, I have to move my body every single day because, as we know, and if you don't know it, I'm going to tell you right now, the body keeps score. I have not read the book, but I just understand that principle. And I understand that emotion is energy in motion, right? You have to move the energy around. You have to move the energy. Otherwise, it will set up in your bones. And then you'll be, for me, I hold a lot of stress in my neck, in my shoulders. That's energy. That's built up energy. If I'm not getting massages, if I'm not going to the chiropractor and allowing them to move that energy around, it just builds up, right? And of course, a whole lot of things can occur with stored energy. Like you can get diseases, you can, your health could falter, your bones could ache, you can have aches and pains. Like, yeah. What else to say? Remove the stagnant energy. Your body will begin to store the energy, in turn, creating aches and pains. Okay, I already said that. And unresolved emotions. So that's physical and emotional right there. Yeah. If you move the energy, it's the same thing as moving the emotional energy from, stopping it and moving it out for one. It helps you process unresolved emotion. But two, it helps you regulate your emotions at the same time. That's what I mean. Um, Number three, so that's physical and emotional. But number three, which also speaks to emotional, I have strong boundaries, right? Like I have no problem with saying no or maybe later or not right now. And it's funny because I have the capacity, so I don't have to say no very often. And the reason why I have the capacity is because I do these things every day and I have set up my life in a way to where I'm not stressed, worried, struggling, like I don't have those things. Um and so what was I gonna say? Oh, I was gonna say that my daughter is probably the only one who's is pulling on me more than anybody else, of course, because she's a baby. She is 4 years old. And if I have to, set boundaries with her so she understands what it looks like to take care of yourself, then that's what I do. I rarely ever tell her no. It's never a no with my daughter because I just because why not? Why not? So I probably will never tell her no because it's always in my mind gonna be like, well, why not? And so yeah. Um but it's always a maybe later or I'll see or not right now or give me 10 minutes or give me a half hour, and I'm just letting her know and telling her what it's going to be and kind of setting those boundaries as I go and as I need, and that's also a part of emotions. Um yeah. And the fourth thing is I read and I have conversations with the community that I am part of, and that is mentally stimulating because nine times out of 10, the books that we are reading are mentally stimulating. And we have conversations about so many things. Shout out to the wellness community, but we have so many conversations about just life, spirituality, quantum physics, law of attraction, all of that stuff. I love all of that stuff. Manifestation, um, peace. Like we have a lot of conversations. And so that for me is mentally stimulating. And although I don't do that every single day, I am reading a book every single day. And so that just helps me, this thing of like put down the phone and pick up a book. I said the other day, I'm like, we've lost our critical thinking skills. Are they teaching us context clues in school anymore? Because I just don't understand what's happening. But it's because people are on their phones all day long and they're not taking a moment to actually read a book. They say that if you want to hide something from somebody, put it in a book, right? Because most of the time people are not going to pick up a book and read it. And it's unfortunate because I really think that we are losing our critical thinking skills, especially with the uprise of AI. Everybody is allowing it to think for them instead of tapping into the creativity and the critical thinking on their own. And I'm guilty of it. Sometimes I use it. It can be helpful and efficient in some capacities, but I do read every single day for mental stimulation and so I can stay sharp. And when I do get settled in my next country, I plan to learn a different language. I want to learn these languages so that I can talk to myself in different languages in my mind. I told my homeboy that yesterday. I'm like, I just can't wait till I get to the point where I'm talking to myself in different languages in my mind. Like, I can't imagine like me talking to myself in English and responding to myself in Mandarin. I just think that's so cool. I think that's so cool. And so I'm excited for that mental stimulation whenever I get to that point in my journey. But yes, yes, you do not have to struggle. Your life can be easy. It takes time, it takes practice, it takes diligence. It also takes a knowing of self. Study yourself, understand yourself, become conscious of yourself and what you need to do for you in order for you to be well and at peace. Because what I feel is that a lot of people just don't know that they're doing the things that they're doing. I feel like a lot of women don't know that they don't have to do everything. I feel like a lot of women don't know that they don't have to struggle. I feel like there are a lot of single mothers who don't know how to just ask for help. Like I feel like that's a thing. I feel like a lot of ego, a lot of pride gets in the way of us receiving our blessings, receiving the abundance and leaning into the abundance and the peace that is rightfully so ours. And so I think that I want to keep talking about this because I am quite passionate about it. I do want women, particularly Black women, to know and understand that you don't have to struggle. Life can be easy, and you are the creator of your reality. You are the creator of your reality. So, just like my daughter's grandmother told me, you create it. Keep creating it. Like, this is a co creative reality for those who are spiritual and on their spiritual journey or on their spiritual awakening. God is in you, and you co create with the God in you in order to create the life that you want to live. And so that's all I got. I am Markita, and if this is your first time joining me, welcome. And to those of you who are returning, welcome back. I'm super grateful to have you all here with me. I make videos every single day. So I will see you all back here tomorrow. Peace, love, and light, beautiful souls.